Okay, ladies and gentlemen, gather round, gather round. Okay, it's a rare thing on a Saturday to see podcasting going on or any type of live stream, but I felt it was really, really important. So, first of all, I would like to, before I get into this and explain to you what's going on, I want to introduce to you comedian Mike Logan. Mike, thanks for being here, buddy.
Hey again, Eric. Long time since I've been on the program.
It
Officially.
has been a while. We've been screaming and fighting and it's just been a horrible, horrible thing. So I think that this is much needed, and I think we'll be able to take care of a lot of things right here with this. And I think it's going to be very, very productive. So thanks for taking the time. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Okay, excellent. And so let me just get right after this and explain what's going on, because from the brain of me, this is how this unfolded. Okay. Yesterday and during the period of the week, I've been taking various runs at DMX, who found himself in a bad spot a week ago when he was in a vegetative state for whatever happened to him. Well, it didn't take long for me to do some research on him, and I saw a long list of problems that this guy had been in over his life. So then I proceeded to say, this is BS. We shouldn't, everybody's falling all over themselves, saying nice things about him. That's horse shit. This is terrible. This guy's a loser. This guy's an idiot. I was saying all sorts of horrible things. So that went on for the whole week. Then the guy died. And then I hadn't voiced that on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. I'd only talked about that in the podcast. So then I doubled down and voiced it in writing on Facebook and Twitter. And I didn't feel a damn bit bad about it at all. And my spider sense was going off a little bit when I did it, but I was like, fuck them. And that's usually my attitude with a lot of things like this. And that's kind of like the weird devil and angel on the shoulder thing that happens with me quite a bit. And more often than not, when I do things like that, those went out. So, the day progressed, and then a lot of people got pissed off, and there was a lot of fighting and ugliness, and I wasn't about to let any of that get in the way of what I was doing. I was like, oh, no, I feel good about this. This is a great decision. This is awesome, and I'm going to fight with everybody tooth and nail over it. And then, okay, so that ended. And then I went to bed.
That's always yeah. the split on the internet. It's like I said all this stuff, and then I went to bed, and then
yeah, and then I woke up, and I still didn't feel that bad about it. I was still in that, I still want to I wasn't really getting it. Okay, so but something there was a little something different, but not enough for me to actually act on it. And then, I picked up the young man that I'm sponsoring, and we went to an AA meeting, which I do quite a bit. And the thing about those meetings is they have a tendency to write you. Okay, if you're in this spot, and then for one day you're over here or you're over here, they tend to center you. And it became apparent in the meeting that I was really going to be struggling with what I did for some time. And I'm like, fuck, here I am trying to set a good example. And yet, why didn't I just keep my mouth shut? If I just wouldn't have said anything, I didn't have to go down that road. So then in the meeting, I actually deleted the posts. And then we got to the point in the meeting where this was discussed. The fifth step is this. And this happens to me a lot in my life. And I tried to pay more attention to these things, more so than when I was younger. But the focus of the meeting was the fifth step. And the fifth step, I don't know it by heart, but it reads like this. We admit to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrong. And that spoke to me. That actually kind of scared me, because after all that I had been through in the 18 hours creating all this trouble, I can't just make it go away and then not reconcile this based on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does. I'm reading your sidebar on your comments, and people are like saying that you shouldn't feel bad for what you said. And to their point, I'm a comedian, so I definitely agree with that. Like, I don't think anybody should, if it's your honest opinion and you honestly feel something about a certain way, I've never told anybody they shouldn't say it. The problem only comes when the consequences happen, which this is a different example. Obviously, you're quickly like owning up to like the fact that people were upset with what you did. It's the consequences that people have a problem with normally. Like, it's not the fact that like somebody says something; it's that when someone gets mad about it, then the person who said it is offended because the person is mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but with the DMX thing, I think it's like one of those things where, as far as entertainers go, like nobody really thinks of an entertainer as a person ever, period. Like, they like to admit it or say that they do, but nobody treats entertainers like people. And then when they die, people start to say things, or they joke about it, or they make like references to it, or they talk shit about the person. And the thing that we forget is like, we all make mistakes. We've all made mistakes our entire lives, always. For the day we're born to the day we die. We've made bad choices. We've done things wrong. We've said offensive things. We've all done it. The problem is these entertainers do it all publicly. And then everybody else has their own opinions about their life. Meanwhile, everybody who has these opinions, their lives are all shit too. So it's like you're sitting here and you're criticizing, not you, but like you're criticizing like people who are successful in certain ways, in certain aspects of life, even though you're at this level of your life, royally you, again, not you, Eric.
No, I got you.
Yeah. So it's, to me, like, as a viewer who watches these kind of things unfold, and like I just put the gif on your thing, the cringe of that guy, because I always see it.
And I know the gif that you're talking about. It's the guy who's drinking which is, by the way, a great gif. The guy,
it's a very good one.
He goes like this. He goes, and it's. I'm like, I wonder what Mike's getting at here. So I mean, and it was kind of resonating with me. And this is all an internal thing in my brain. I have these little wars that I create, and frankly, I mean, I don't have anybody to answer to these days. I could, if it were, if I were at a radio station and the boss came to me and said, "You got to go apologize," that's one thing. But I honestly, when in the meeting today, when I then felt bad about it, and then the idea of admitting to God, ourselves, and another person the exact nature of our wrongs. That's where I am right now. Because I felt that if I am going to be in a spot where I can have an influence on someone, like the kid I'm sponsoring, I don't know. I didn't feel good about it. And I felt it was important then to turn around and do what I'm doing right now. And if anybody on the chat says, well, you weren't wrong in your comments to say, because what I had said, just for people who don't know, I had tweeted the exact words, "Rest in peace, my ass." And then I listed the things he screwed up with: child support, animal abuse, drugs, robbery, the shit that DMX did. And that was it. And that was all it took. And I was bold in it, and I was headstrong in it. And I don't know how to explain it, but I slept on it. I woke up. I didn't feel good about it, and now here I am.
Here's my main complaint about this, specifically for DMX, and I think I tweeted this like early this morning, is that people don't say shit about anything that and this is specifically for Black entertainers, obviously, because that's what I know. People don't say anything about Black entertainers' problems while they're alive, or like when they're not in the news. It's like DMX is famously, he got in trouble for impersonating an FBI agent at an airport while on drugs. He got in trouble for animal cruelty, for, like you said, all the stuff that you listed is accurate. It is true. He did all those things. The problem comes in the fact that for the last like 6 or 7 years of DMX's life, he's been in hardcore recovery. He's been grappling with addiction. He hasn't had any criminal problems. I mean, he's had criminal problems come up, but they always come up with his addiction. Like, the biggest problem he's had is he's always had these huge substance abuse problems his entire life. But the caveat of the juxtaposition with him as an artist, which is why he's so respected and why everybody is so like, if you look online, the outpouring is insanely huge over his death. It's because he used his music to escape his life. His music was sending a message that was more positive and more influential and bettering people, as opposed to what his life was doing. He used his art form as an outlet to be a better person. And that's what I think is being celebrated now. Not the fact that, he did have they found like 3 pit bull dead bodies buried in his yard back in like 2008 because he was allegedly in a dogfighting ring. He ended up pleading guilty for it. he ended up saying that he didn't know these things were happening. Like, all these things that happened to him happened so long ago, and they kept happening to him. But while he was doing it, he admitted these things, like, these are these problems in my life. These are things I'm trying to work on. And he had a support system that obviously, when you have that kind of access to those kind of demons.
And I guess that I don't have to like him. I mean, I can go ahead to myself and say, well, whatever. That's something that I don't. I mean, he's going to have fans. He's going to have people who don't like him because of those things. I guess my problem with myself was I probably just should have kept my mouth shut. I kind of wish I did, and here's why. Because I think that I don't know. I just picked a fight for no particular reason. You're right. I had no, pardon the pun, dog in the fight. And I just, it stuck in my craw for some reason. And that does happen that, oh shit, here's this guy, he's being celebrated, but he's a fucking loser or whatever I was saying, knowing full well, that there are people who have those demons, just like you said. I mean, I do, but to a much lesser extent. In terms of not really breaking the law or anything like that, but just personal demons. And I guess I look at this as when I wake up and feel bad about it, I am reminded that this is a practice, and I am never, ever going to get this right. It's a practice, and I didn't feel comfortable with it, and so I wanted to get out after this as quickly as I could. That's why I reached out to you, because I don't think that that's me. I think that that's a bad side of me that I don't want to be around. So I'm sorry about that.
Can I address one of your fans who just keeps saying stuff?
Yeah, I can't see it. And just for the record, the audience can't see that. They can only see that amongst them. So, but by all means, if
I'm not going to name them. I'm not going to name them or anything. But there's somebody in here who keeps saying the same thing over and over again. And it's he says the last thing he just said was, "Stand behind your fucking words, Zane. Bitching out doesn't change the fact you said what you said." I want to talk to that guy in particular. Changing your opinion about something does not make you a bitch. I'm so sick of the sentiment on the internet where people think that because you grow and evolve and learn something that you're less than a human being or a pussy or a bitch. But like, dude, get over yourself. Like, realize, not you, Eric, but this person.
I understand.
Realize that, like, we grow up and we learn from our mistakes. And when we make mistakes, we own up to them. It doesn't mean that Eric is like less of a person or he has less of an opinion or he's less of an entertainer. It's just that we grow up. Like, when this person was a child, he probably thought glue tasted delicious. But then he got older and realized, oh, you shouldn't fucking eat glue. But he's too dumb to realize that translates to adulthood too. Like, you keep growing, dude. This guy looks like he's at least 40 something. So you should know, bro. Go into your ice shack or whatever you do in your spare time and reflect on yourself and understand that you're different than what you were even 2 years ago. So let Eric understand you. Let Eric be who he is. Let him be a man, a real man, and understand that he made a mistake, and let him fucking own up to it if he wants to.
James, this is what I'm getting at, buddy. Look, for me personally, when I just didn't feel good about it, man. And I think that's Mike makes a very, very good point. How often have you decided, all right, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, and then you go back and you realize, oh shit, man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I've
done it all the time.
It's okay to change your fucking mind on shit. I do this. I mean, I have said this is a work in progress. I don't ever look at myself and say, well, I'm good. I'm never going to change my mind about any fucking thing in the world. I wasn't comfortable with it. And as the day wore on, and I like I said, I went to the meeting and the topic came up and it spoke to me, and I said, you know what? I fucking fucked this up. I see Mike's tweet and I go, son of a bitch, man. I think this would be cool if we chit-chatted about it. So, I mean, I agree with you on that, Mike. People are going to be who they want to be, but at the same time, I think it's important to kind of like not be so pig-headed, I guess.
I agree. Well, that's the problem with the internet, though, is we're all hidden behind our keyboards. So most of the people who type all this stuff online would never have the balls to say any of these words to anybody's face ever. And I mean, like 99% of the people who talk shit online, I dare them to say anything that they ever say online to any of those people's faces. None of them would. Like, none of them would. They don't understand what it's like to be put out in front of people that vulnerably, like you do, or like I do, or like DMX did, or like any entertainer does. Like, We constantly put ourselves out there for these people's enjoyment, and all we get back usually is shit on when we do one thing they don't like. So that's something they'll never understand, though, as people who aren't entertainers.
Yep. So that's it. It was kind of like a personal. Like, you ever do that when you just think, maybe I was wrong, maybe I was too harsh, maybe I was just, I was having some real doubt about it.
I did that last year, actually, with Laughfest. Laughfest, when COVID happened, everything got canceled for Laughfest, including like one of the shows that I had to produce. I was doing this big roast battle for them. It was like the last day of the festival. No big deal. But so COVID happens, everything gets canceled. I wake up kind of late in the day, and you know how you get all your messages in reverse?
Yeah.
So like I get a bunch of messages and they're all like, "This is bullshit. Where's your show? Where's your show? This is bullshit." So I kept saying, so I'm confused, and I'm just waking up. I open my phone and I see that all the shows at Laughfest are canceled. But then I see that they've announced makeup dates for a bunch of shows except for my show. So everybody, all my fans and shit, they all like got mad thinking that Laughfest had just left me out of the show. So I woke up, saw this, immediately got enraged by the mob, and was like, "Yeah, fuck Laughfest. What the fuck is their problem? Not asking me to reschedule my black ass show." So then I fucking put a post up immediately. I never do that. I don't, like, you've seen my social media for years now. I don't normally put stuff up that I have to regret that I said, because I usually think things through. But immediately put up some things like bashing Laughfest, because I had already been mad about some other things that had happened with them earlier in the week. So it was just like, my show didn't get picked up. They didn't even ask me. Gets like a couple hundred likes immediately. People start like, getting on my side. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. Not even 20 minutes after I posted, I get a phone call from the representative at Laughfest who I work with. He says, "Hey, Mike, we've been trying to get a hold of you all morning. Your phone must have gone to voicemail. All the shows got canceled. We're trying to get a hold of you to reschedule. Let us know when's a good time to reschedule the show for." Immediately, my first thought is, fuck. Immediately, I'm just like, this is fucking awful. I cannot believe it. So then I have to think to myself, I'm like, okay, they don't know that I posted this yet. I can delete it right now. I can quickly delete it. They'll never see it. Boom. I'm scot-free. But then I thought, no, that's not right. Because then the hundreds of people who have already liked my status are now they just know that Laughfest didn't renew my show because I'm you know what I mean? Like, that's what they told themselves.
That's the old dirty delete.
So I had to I didn't delete it though, because I famously, I've said on my Facebook, I never delete anything. Like, I just don't delete anything because I feel like if it's on the internet, it's out there in the ether, you should have thought of it before you put it out there.
Right.
So I put the next status was an apology, like a long apology.
Yeah.
Because they called me after they saw. I put the apology up, and then I put my phone away, and then they called me, and he was like, "Oh, I just went on Facebook," and I'm like, "Yeah."
No.
But that's the thing though, is like you being able to admit that like something you did yesterday made you feel bad, or me being able to admit that like I jumped the gun on fucking saying some shit that I shouldn't have said. That's something that we as entertainers are held responsible to all the time. But all these people in the comments never do. They never do. So they just keep living their lives saying everything that gets unchecked. Yeah. So they just keep continuing spewing into the void of grossness. And it's gross. Oh, James, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't think Zane was too harsh. I don't think you were too harsh either. I think you were accurate, but obviously you're going to offend people. Yes, people's opinions change, but not over a matter of days. But I guess the backlash was too real. Too was spelled incorrectly. Was too much. Too was also spelled incorrectly again for Zane. But I'll go back to my ice shack. Make sure you bring a fish. If you catch anything, can you please send it to Eric and me separately so we can eat it together on Zoom on the next episode?
James, and you know what's interesting? That's a good point, James. To be clear, it wasn't so much backlash. I mean, when you do get backlash, it does make a person think. I mean, it makes you wonder. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. And that's a personal battle that you have, and you got to understand, and it might make you live a little longer if you maybe adopt that. I don't know. I know that I feel much better now since I'm talking to Mike about this, and I think that if I am going to walk the walk, this is important. So you guys know me.
That's the most important part, Derek. Like, it doesn't matter what they all feel. Like, you feel better because you got that off your chest. That's all that matters. These people don't matter to your mental health. Like, if you feel bad about what you said and you want to apologize, or you had an epiphany or a paradigm shift in personality, you could have had a fucking lightning strike an hour from now that changes your entire personality. It doesn't matter to them because they're not you and they're not in control of your feelings. If you feel better now, you did the right thing.
And I think that's a good point too, because I think it's been said many times that what people think is literally none of my business. what they think about me is not my business. So I whatever. Wow. Okay. Well, I think we've covered it, man. Is there anything? I mean, I shouldn't have done that. I don't feel good about it, and I wish I could take it back. So I'm sorry I did that to everybody who I pissed off.
Can you give me a DMX dog growl before I go?
How does it? I know very little about him.
All right. I'll do this. I will read James R. Bass's comments in DMX's voice.
Okay, here. Hang on. Here you go.
Okay, here we go. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. You're entitled to your opinion. What? I don't think Zayn was too harsh. Yo! You people's opinions change, but not over a matter of days. But I guess the backlash, what? Was too real. Too much for Zayn. My name is James R. Bass, but I'll go back to my ice shack. So
I take it all back. I'm not sorry. Holy shit. All right. On that note, everything okay with you?
Yeah, I actually have to leave in 20 minutes to go get a rapid COVID test because I found out a comic I was with the other night has COVID. So
it was probably fucking Garrett. You know, he's a big
dude. He hasn't left his house. I was supposed to get my vaccine the other day, but there's no fucking parking downtown. And then the next day, I find out I have to go get tested for COVID now. So,
oh my god. Well, all right, man. That's good. I'm. Thanks for taking the time to be on this with me. I appreciate it. And well, yeah, I wish you the best, and I hope to talk to you soon.
All right, thanks for having me, Eric.
All right, Mike Logan, thank you so much. And by the way, Twitter at Ice Cold Comedian on Twitter. That is where you can find Mike. And there you go. Okay, thanks again, buddy. Thanks everybody. I'll talk to you. Bye bye.